Hey everybody, welcome back to Pixel Junkies. You're listening to the Pixel Junkies podcast.
We're back.
We're back again.
Yeah.
I'm Rory DC.
I'm Adam.
I'm Aaron.
Should apologize for why there wasn't any podcast last week. It's because I had family in town and I couldn't make it
Adam
out.
ruined everything.
And for the record, we
As
wouldn't have had
usual.
anything to talk about anyways.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Again.
It was kind of a good thing we
But
took
luckily-
a week-long break.
Luckily, there is a thing that happens in the middle of the summer that usually saves us from this drought.
Ye olde Comic-Con.
Ye olde Comic-Con indeed. So a lot of stuff came out of
very
Comic-Con this year because there's a lot of stuff coming out.
Yeah.
We got some stuff from Infinity War. We got some stuff from Black Panther. Got trailers for different stuff. Some new stuff was announced. There's a couple of new games that have been announced. I don't know if we're gonna get to everything on this list.
Yeah.
We can touch on some stuff.
Before we get into the Comic-Con stuff, though, Adam, you bought 2 new games this week and played them.
I did. I haven't beaten either of them yet. The first game I bought and played.
I mean, yeah.
I bought and played Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and Doom because I found them. There's like a local used game shop in town that I frequent and I know the people there, so they usually give me a good deal on stuff. If you're in the Greater St. John's area, absolutely check out the Game Store Games Exchange. They're absolutely wonderful. They give you really good prices on games, and I've never had a problem with them. If the game is broken, you can just bring it back and they'll give you another one. If they can. If they can't, they'll give you your money back. It's very, very good. But anyway, I got Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which is not what I expected it to be.
That PS2 game?
Now, you said Xenoverse 2, right?
I did.
So,
yes.
the implication there being there's a first one.
Yes.
Did you play the first one?
I have not, no.
Okay, so that's why. Okay, so
I was told that the second one was better than the first one, but you didn't need to play the first one to like the second one because it's basically the same plot.
Cool. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
That dude's
shit.
Dead as fuck.
So tell us about it.
So basically, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you're playing as a person called a time patroller, and your mission is to travel to different points in the
time
Dragon Ball
cop?
Z canon and essentially correct mistakes to the
DBs.
timeline. So like,
Do the writers work for them? The game.
I mean, yeah.
We made a bunch of mistakes. Go fix them.
So what the mistakes are, like early on in Dragon Ball Z, Goku fights Raditz, who's Goku's brother, and that doesn't amount to anything, so don't even worry about it. And Goku ends up winning, but he dies in the process. So they kill Raditz, but Goku dies alongside with it. And the other character that fights Raditz is Piccolo, and Piccolo survives. Somebody changes, I forget the character's name, Toga I think her name is, changes the timeline so that Piccolo dies alongside Goku. So you have to go back and save Piccolo, but you have to make it so that
I see.
Goku dies.
Yeah.
So you're going back and forth.
Sounds a lot like Remember Me or something.
It kind of
Kinda
is.
does,
You're
yeah.
giving the game's plot a lot of credit here. I'm going to be honest.
Okay, I was going to say, because Remember Me is damn cool.
Yeah, except in Remember Me, you make them think something happened when it didn't.
So you can play as a
Rather
couple
than
of different
actually changing
races.
time.
You can play as a human. I don't know why you would. A Namekian, which is what Piccolo is. You can play as a member of Frieza's race, which still doesn't have a name, so it's just Frieza's race. You can play as a Majin, which is what Boo was, the pink wads of gum. And you can play as a Saiyan, of course. So I chose to play as a Saiyan. Because,
Vegeta was a Saiyan.
yes, he was. I
learned that the other day because I was watching a stream and randomly someone donated to the stream with this big rant about Vegeta. I was just like, alright.
So I named my character Kapu, I believe that's her name, which is Japanese for turnip.
You
because
named her,
all
right?
the
That
Saiyans-
goes with the,
all the
yeah.
Saiyans are vegetables.
Yeah.
It's
Sweet.
pretty fun. It's not a fighting game. I thought it was going to be like a fighting game.
That's what I thought it
It's more of an
was.
action RPG where there's a lot of... You can go, there's the hub
That's
world,
better.
and then there's the missions. And the missions are, you basically mash the light button, the light attack, the heavy attack. There's no real combos, but there's different, moves you can do, and you can...
But
pull
is
up-
it, what kind of, what's the setup? Is it,
It's not
3D
too-
hack and slash, or is it 2D fighter? Or
I'd
what's
say the thing is probably close to 3D hack and slash.
Oh, okay. So,
Kind of.
more Devil May Cry than Tekken.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's not actually like Tekken at all.
Oh, okay.
Aaron.
What's happening
Don't worry about
here?
it.
So, you can also pull up. You can hit the. I play it on Xbox, and you can pull up hit the 2 triggers to bring up like your special moves or techniques or whatever.
Yes.
So like you can like punch a guy and kick a guy regularly, or then you can like hit the trigger and use up a bit of stamina or whatever it's called in the game, ki, and fire off a combo.
Is it like on a meet? There's a meter there somewhere. Okay, yeah.
And you can and it charges up as you get hit and as you hit somebody else, and you can also charge it up manually. But every special move that you does uses ki.
Sure, okay, I buy
So
it.
I find it curious that Adam spent the last 2 weeks complaining about how he hates fighting games, and now he's playing an
It's
RPG
not a fighting game. It's not a fighting game.
Do you fight in it?
Well, yeah, but you fight in a lot of games, Aaron. You fight in Call of Duty. I wouldn't necessarily call it a fighting game.
Do you fight with your hands?
Yes.
To be fair, you fight with your hands in Batman, but Batman is not a fighting game.
Yeah,
it's more like that,
It's actually
right?
a lot like Batman in terms of how it controls, except you
I
can
mean,
fly around
you know,
and stuff.
is it really though? If you take all the combat out of Batman, is it still really a Batman game?
Well, I wouldn't really call it a game if you took out all the combat.
Well, there you go. So fighting is a fighting game, confirmed.
Okay.
Batman is not a fighting game.
So you get. So I have a couple of gripes about the game. I'm liking it so far. I
fuck's
wouldn't,
sake, Simeon.
recommend it to anybody who isn't a Dragon Ball fan. So if you're not a big fan of Dragon Ball,
Balls.
this is not like a you have to get this. I would skip it, honestly. It's pretty fun to go, to be able to team up with like some of the characters from the show and take on like the villains and stuff, and a lot of characters are there. So you'll get like the main story characters and stuff. So like Piccolo and Krillin and the villains like Cell and Frieza. But there's also some movie characters as well. So you'll run into like Broly. I'm saying a lot of stuff that doesn't register for Warrior Aaron, but that's fine.
Is Piccolo
3 weeks of
Japanese for a
Tekken. I can
pickle?
do this now. What?
Is Piccolo Japanese for pickle?
No, Piccolo is Japanese for piccolo, which is the woodwind instrument. So that's all fun. The combat gets a bit annoying at times because it very easily turns into stun lock the fuck out of your opponent and just wail on them. Like you can get like absurdly high like 40 hit combos on a dude, but the same can happen to you, and the block doesn't really work. And sometimes the teleporter, because you have like a teleport ability where you can like whoosh behind them and then just start wailing on them, and that doesn't work if you're stun locked. So when you get stun locked, that's kind of it for you. You just got to take the hits and hopefully he doesn't kill you until you can stun lock him. So that's kind of annoying. That's why I wouldn't really classify it as a fighting game.
Oh.
Also, and this is more from like a lore in-universe perspective, some of the fights in that game are fucked. Because like I've unlocked the ability to go Super Saiyan right up to Super Saiyan 3, which is pretty strong. And yet, when I do some of like the boss challenges, because there's the main story and then there's like optional side missions.
Sure.
I'll be fighting characters from like way in the beginning of the Dragon Ball Z run, like Raditz, like Goku's brother Raditz, who is a really weak character compared to a lot of the other villains that would come after him, and he's beating my ass as a Super Saiyan 3, and I'm like, how is he this strong?
I see what you're saying,
it would be like for Aaron, it would be like if you were playing a game as the Hulk and all of a sudden Daredevil was literally beating the shit out of you and you couldn't do anything about it.
See, that's the kind of thing that would drive me and Aaron insane.
Yeah, so that's why I say, like, you wouldn't like a game anyway because it's Dragon Ball, but I really wouldn't.
Yeah, unless there was some like lore reason as to why Hulk was either depowered or Daredevil was superpowered.
Yeah.
They do kind of give a reason where like the main villain of the game, this Toga chick, if I remember, I think that's her name. She's powering up all of the villains, so that's why you have to go in and help them all fight. Like when Goku fought Frieza in the anime, he was able to take on Frieza pretty much by himself, but now he needs help because Frieza's gotten a big power boost.
Oh, okay.
So I get that, but at the same time, there's like it would be. I don't care how much you power up Raditz, he's probably not going to be taking on he wouldn't be able to take on like a Hulk level character. He just
Right.
can't. He's just not that powerful. So that's a bit annoying. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do in the game. There's boss run missions, and there's super bosses that you can fight, and then there's the main story, and there's a lot of stuff to collect. You can train with all the characters in the game and learn their special moves from the TV show, so that's kind of cool.
What do you mean? Like, talk to me a bit about this training mechanic?
So, like, in the hub world, in between missions, you can, like, go around and find, like, characters from the show, like Piccolo.
Sure.
And you can talk to him, and he'll be like, hey, I can train you. And so you train him, and you got to do, like, a challenge, and when the challenge is complete, you get one of his special moves.
Oh,
so, like,
okay,
Makopo Senkai, I forget what it's called in Japanese, the special beam.
Kamehameha.
Or like the Hell Zone grenade or whatever. And yes, these are real moves. And so...
Sorry, Tekken's got weird names, too.
Yeah.
they
Anyway, so
used,
that's my kind of thoughts. Like, it's
combat
fun
or
as a
something.
Dragon Ball fan, but it's not like... the game has a lot of problems, so... I mean, it's been out for a while, so...
And what was the second game you bought and played?
I bought Doom. 2016 Doom. Not
Yeah.
1990 Doom. Because that would be absurd.
Yeah. Both good games, though. But you wouldn't spend money on 1990.
No, it's-
No, I would
Probably
not,
definitely
unless I was
free
getting it
somewhere.
for Super Nintendo just to complete the collection kind of thing. But,
Yeah.
that game's fine.
Is that wait,
I
now, is
don't-
it Doom on? Did you say Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Is that on Super Nintendo?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great. Aaron, how would you like to play a game at 12 frames a second?
I love 12 frames a second.
Well, then
'cause
you will definitely want to play
playing
Doom
the
on the
PS4
SNES.
version of GTA right now, Adam.
Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, it's a fine game. It looks great.
Not your kind of
it
thing.
plays
though.
great. I don't like that style of run and
Yeah.
gun.
You weren't a big fan of the old Dooms, as I recall.
No, I didn't grow up with them.
Didn't you like Wolfenstein though?
Yeah, but it's not the same. Wolfenstein had a little bit more. Like, you could, like, crouch down behind cover and shoot, which is more my type of shooter.
Yeah, I guess.
And
it was still
zoom in,
very run and gun.
Doom,
though.
Doom is very much run around the enemy and, like, just blast them with a shotgun, which is fun, don't get me wrong. It's just I'm not as into it as other people are. And I was not saying that it's bad, I'm just saying it's just not what
Yeah.
I'm into.
I felt like in Wolfenstein I guess the perk tree kind of dictated my play style for a lot of it because
Okay.
it's like Rory was like, don't forget about the stealth mechanics. They're totally there, and they definitely are. And I think very early on in the game, it's like, okay, you can totally stealth in this game, but for the most part, I think it was the perk tree. Like, I can't even remember what all the skills were. Like, kill 5 dudes with grenades or something, or
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, like though it's like, all right, well, I need this one, so I got to do this. So then I would just do whatever I needed to do playstyle wise to get that perk.
That comes to more run and gun, doesn't it? If you
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
it that way, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
So-
for that, yeah, I guess, yeah. So I like that though, because it kind of made me play in a way that I wouldn't normally.
Right. But there's no stealthing in Doom.
I will say
Yeah, I guess that's just fast combat.
I love the character of the Doom Marine.
Me too.
Because you really get the sense that the Doom Marine is all he does, all he likes to do, all he ever thinks about is killing demons. And he's so good at it, and he's so fucking violent about it, that even the demons, like these huge monstrous enemies that shoot fireballs and they got horns and they come from the pits of hell, they're terrified of this dude. He's the one guy
I thought
that
it
they
was on
fear.
Mars.
What?
I thought it was on Mars.
Yeah, but they open the portal to hell. The game takes place on Mars, but they open
So it
portals.
was hell on Mars?
No,
Or do you
it's-
go to another dimension or something?
I think you go to another dimension.
Oh.
I think.
Don't worry about the lore
Yeah,
and story
it's-
of Doom.
But I really dig that about the character, where it's just he's
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
yeah, and no dialogue, but you get a lot of like of his mannerisms. But like just the way he kills some of the demons, like I want like the amount of times I've ripped a demon's arm off and then used the arm to beat him to death is like I have lost count, and I never get old. Just be like he'll just like grab onto the demon's skull, rip his arm off, hold him in place, and then beat him over the head with the soggy end of the arm. And I'm like, Jesus Christ!
And that
I
game
can
actually,
get behind this level of violence.
I'm assuming it's on PS4.
No, I got that one on Xbox
Oh.
as well.
Well, I can't speak to the Xbox, but I know at least on PS4 I've heard that it actually runs at 60.
Is it at like 520 or something?
No, it is
though?
not at 1080 all the time. Because that wouldn't happen.
Again,
It's
I
got a
don't really notice
dynamic
frame rates as
resolution.
much as you guys, but it did seem to run pretty well on
yeah,
the Xbox.
it
version.
runs really well on consoles. I'm actually I'm quite impressed.
Games I feel tend to run a bit better on the Xbox versions than they do on the PlayStation 4 version anyway.
Really interesting.
Not by a lot, but just I've just noticed. But yeah, anyway, so people probably already played Doom. That's just my thoughts on it. Like it's all right. It's not. I just found it's all right. Like I'm definitely gonna finish it. And I'm liking the gameplay mechanics. So I'm not just like it's just not my thing. So I'm not like
Yeah,
wow.
exactly. Right. Yeah.
So
That's why presumably it took you so long to get it and play through it. Because
Yeah.
if you were like a hard.
because I got it
You
for
know.
sale for I got it like I think it was $30 or something like that.
Oh right, yeah, that's a good price as well.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, if you can get Doom out there for $30, get it for $30.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely
fucking
worth getting for
$30.
for $30.
I thought it was more story driven than that.
No,
Or at
it's got a
least-
really good story mode, but it doesn't have a story. If that
But
makes
I
sense.
assume it's like coherent enough, right?
Yeah, it's more like I feel like the Doom character is what like a lot of people are when it comes to story for shooter games. Where like there's a story there and he's just ignoring it, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Where the guy would be like, "Listen, you need to do," and he just like, "Ooh," and it's just like, "Anyway, you have to go here and kill demons." Like, right, kill demons. That's fine.
Yeah, that's totally like marketing to a Call of Duty audience, I think. Or it's like, yeah, there's a
I don't know about
campaign
that.
mode, but you don't really give a fuck what it's about. Just kill shit.
I mean, there is a story there, and it's quite. But it's
The
just,
difference is that Doom is good.
It's not. It's also not told
yeah, from a
really through
technical
cutscenes.
standpoint,
There's no cutscenes in the game. Well, there's one at the beginning, I think. Actually, I can't even remember.
I think there is because I watched somebody play it at SGDQ.
Yeah, so if
And,
if you're into Call of Duty, but you're tired of not having fun, get Doom. And
Oh, I got a
enjoy
question for you
yourself.
guys, just because you
Yeah.
brought up Call of Duty. Which TV show actor or actor who's mainly in TV shows
Okay.
do you think is going to be the villain of the next Call of Duty game? Because we had
Not
Kevin
World War II?
Spacey, and we had Kit Harington.
So
who do you think-
It's
who-
also worth noting that as well. That dude from Grey's Anatomy was
Oh,
soap for all the.
Yeah,
Call
but that
of Duties
doesn't
that
count
soap
because he
occurs.
wasn't being the dude from Grey's Anatomy.
Well, what's a
He was
Oh
popular?
right, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like
What's
it
a
was clearly
popular
like it was like, oh
TV
yeah,
show?
Kit Harington is the bad guy,
Yeah,
as opposed
yeah.
to it's whatever his
Ooh,
character.
yeah, that's
is.
a good question.
So I'm thinking.
Is that dude from Viking?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
See, I was gonna go the complete opposite direction. I think it's gonna be
Aziz Ansari.
No, actually, I was the
Be good.
I was gonna say Kelsey Grammer, and he's just gonna be Frasier. It's gonna be canon with the rest
I
of
like
Frasier
how
and
Frasier
Cheers.
is the one, the Kelsey Grammer character you pick. Like, there's Frasier characters that could be a villain, but like there's Kelsey Grammer characters that could be a
Yeah,
villain.
the dog.
Frasier's not one of them.
No,
The
but
dog.
Frasier goes insane, and he raises his own PMC after his show ends on whatever the radio station was, KCOR or whatever, and he needs to anyway. He
Toss
raises his
salad and
own
scrambled
PMC, and you
eggs.
got to kill Frasier. How
That'd be
great of
good.
a game would that
I'd
be?
play that.
The
How
other
about
one-
Sam Riegel as a Call of Duty villain?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Or Matt Mercer.
Yeah, but Matt could actually do it. Like Sam Riegel would like just totally be some insane, I don't know, ridiculous villain character.
You know who I want as the next Call of Duty
Starscream
villain?
again.
I want that tech dude from the Cineplex.
Oh! I'm changing my answer to that one.
Mark Saltzman?
It's way better than
Marcus
free.
Saltzman, Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would play the game just to defeat him. That would be the
I like the
only
idea of like you're going like he's like the chairman of a PMC, so you're going through his like evil laboratory and stuff, and he's just like it comes up on screen, he's like many people have a hard time looking through the regular ACOG scope.
Oh my god,
But
Yeah.
Samsung has released a new one. Make sure when you take a picture with it, however, that you don't point it at the sun.
There's this big collection of like toothbrushes with Wi-Fi or some shit like that.
Oh
that he's
man,
got.
I'm just picturing like Half-Life 2 with the who's like the main bad guy in Half-Life 2? Like the bearded guy.
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about, and don't remember.
Yeah.
don't
But
remember
that
the name
guy,
of
like when you
character at all.
when you first go to like City
yeah.
17, they got these screens up and he's talking about like welcome to City 17.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of him, it's Mark Saltzman talking about like different elements of some new tech garbage.
That's how you do Call of Duty. That's how it's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
The
I don't have really an answer that can top that, if I'm honest. It's yeah.
Mark
So
fucking
I want
Saltzman.
to talk about something that it's just going to be a sentence that we don't get to say very often on this show or indeed on any show. Atari's releasing a new console. The
For some
Rory,
reason.
in other news, in other related news that is appropriate to this time period, have you heard the new Tony Baller? Fuck, I can't even call up
Yep.
the joke. Have you heard? Have you heard?
No, go ahead.
See, here's the thing about Atari. I've heard good things about their game E.T. the Extraterrestrial coming out in September. It's only started production at the beginning of July, but I think it's gonna be.
I think
good.
it's ready. Atari's
yeah.
coming out with a new console. That's pretty funny.
It's not a console. It's a plug and play with wood. It's a wood panel. It's an up model. So what Nintendo did with the NES Classic and Atari.
It can play modern games though.
Can it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I
thought it was just.
I read the same thing Aaron said. I think current and old games was the headline I read personally.
Yeah. So is it like a Steam machine that can also be feces or?
All right, I'm looking it up here.
I mean, nobody really read into this because let's be honest, nobody's buying this.
Let's see. We'll include current gaming content.
And what does that mean though?
As well as classic.
Man, it's like an Atari Ouya. That's totally what it is. Right?
Yeah, all it says is current gaming content.
So what I'm seeing here is it's going to use
asteroids and Flappy Birds.
So what I'm seeing here is it's going to use microprocessor-based hardware and ROM cartridges containing game code, which is a pretty big innovation
so it's
for 1977. It's also been in development since 1977. It's got two train controller
That's like
joysticks.
just totally some PR garbage.
I'm reading.
We're making this console.
Yeah, he's making an Atari 2600 joke.
Oh, okay.
The
I wasn't following.
the actual technical specs for the new Atari console, I don't believe have been released.
Probably the most important.
It's just a reskin of an Ouya.
The
list of hardware
Ouya 2.
products.
It's Ouya.
So when Thomas gets it, we'll find out how it is.
There's Home Pong.
Yeah, Thomas, let us know how your Atari Ouya is.
Man, they have a lot of So between 1975 and 1982, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consoles. 2 of them were canceled. So there we go.
Cancel a console.
So yeah, I mean, this is.
Who is making this?
I don't understand exactly. Like, I'm confused. Like Aaron said, like, what does current gaming content mean? Like, I don't understand at all what this is yet. I've seen it, like, physically, because they have pictures of it.
Well, like renderings, I guess, of what they.
Isn't that the Atari Flashback Gold? Is that not it?
No, that's probably just some Kellogg's like cereal box Atari Flashback.
All I've seen it called was new Atari console.
Like, who's buying this?
No one.
What
Anyone's
is
buying this. Thank you for asking.
Oh, it's called the Atari Box. Okay, let's look that
Anybody who's a fan of Atari already has like 9 million copies of all their games.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they've given them away in like cereal boxes and Cracker Jack boxes.
Who hasn't played if you're a gamer and you
handouts.
haven't played Space Invaders, Pong, Pac-Man, or Asteroids, what the fuck are you doing?
Also, it's worth noting
it's
that
free
like,
on the internet.
This is
Or Flash
like,
games that are
equally
better.
as good a point I think that Adam just made, which is like, if people thought like releasing old Nintendo consoles, you know, you could get all of those emulated. Joe, just wait till they get to old Atari games. That's even more.
Oh my God, Atari! What is your product?
No one knows what it is.
I can't find any
No one knows
information on
anything
this.
about it.
I just thought it was a plug and play fucking thing.
No, apparently it has current gaming content. A phrase that I'm never going to be able to forget now.
I'm pretty sure they
Verge.
haven't even figured it out yet.
The,
we know as much as like the board meeting.
But
where
like, no,
came
they
up with
have
all
like
this
the
crap.
problem is they have a physical thing. They're like, oh yeah, here it has an HDMI port and the thing.
Is it
I'm like,
physical?
it is physical.
Okay.
It has wood. It's wood panel.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
the
one
only
thing I got
the only
from
pictures
it.
I've seen of it were renderings. They weren't like, here's a tactile box. Here's me holding it.
Oh, okay, that's true. I haven't seen anyone.
So-
I assumed those were pictures, but I guess that's
So I don't
not
think they've
really-
actually announced it. It's only come out as like pictures, hasn't it? Like emails to fans.
There was like some, like PR sizzle reel,
So apparently
like a.
it allows it to
look at
include
those
classic
3D
games,
thing.
perhaps suggesting an NES classic like library, HDMI output, 4 USB inputs for controllers and SD card slots. So it looks good. It looks like a combination.
Physically, it looks great.
Yeah.
I would say. No one is going to buy that. I don't understand that. This is a bad idea. Getting into the console market is a bad idea.
Yeah, well, if Atari's sole purpose here is like, oh man, look, Nintendo's riding on the coattails of selling their old crap, let's do the same thing.
But Nintendo's not riding on the coattails of selling its own crap.
Well,
The
they
last
are.
time Nintendo tried to sell its own crap, it shot itself in the foot and fell off a fucking cliff.
Oh, it's a good thing that the Nintendo Classics aren't completely sold out everywhere, Adam.
Wait.
There you go, that silenced you.
I was agreeing with you.
It didn't sound like it.
No, I said the last time Nintendo tried to sell its classic shit on a fucking plug-and-play console, it shot itself in the foot because nobody could buy it, and then also they sold it something in the foot because it was
Well,
a
it's not
cheaper
shooting
way.
themselves in the foot.
Oh, whatever. Fuck you. Drive your car. I hope you
Oh my
crash.
God, man! We're selling too many of these products. We can't make enough. Is that shooting ourselves in the
We're
foot?
agreeing. We're agreeing with I'm saying they shot themselves in the foot because they were selling products that actively competed with other products that they were selling.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it competed with, like, especially their Switch market where they can't even
Make enough of them.
Well, yeah, but they can't. I don't know how they're gonna do some sort of like retro store thing. I don't know. They're Nintendo fans. They'll buy 20 copies of the same games they bought in their classic thing. My point is, if Atari wants to make, money off old crap, they should literally do the same thing that Nintendo's doing. Make miniature versions of the old consoles.
Yeah.
That may or may not be part of what this is.
Yeah, but they're making, it's like a new console. It's like it just looks like a modem. It doesn't look like anything.
It honestly looks like it's going to be a combination of the NES Classic and an Ouya because both those products were great
The console
hits.
market is just a bad idea.
I would be more inclined to be like, oh, look, it's a mini Atari Jaguar. Like, I don't care what that is,
If
but
you're not already making consoles, don't start.
Why did you
Don't
go
join
with
in.
Atari Jaguar?
I don't know. It's something
You
that
picked the
existed.
worst of the Atari consoles.
Well, the 2600. It's a mini 2600.
There we go.
It's something that's been established and something that, has nostalgia with certain people. The thing they're making now, it's like, you don't know what it plays or what it does, and this kind of just looks like a modem. So
I love how
give
they're
us
like, it's got an
$300 for it.
HDMI port. I'm like, what is it? Tell me what it. I don't care about the port.
It has wood paneling, Rory.
It's such a weird.
It's definitely not
such a
wood
weird
paneling.
way of marketing. They're like, it has 4 ports for controllers. So I'm like, so you know how many ports it's gonna have for controllers that you don't know what it is or can't tell us?
Again, Atari being Atari.
It's like,
Well, to be fair, Atari hasn't been Atari since probably 1983 when all the execs shot themselves in the boardroom.
Yeah, but it sounds
video
like
game
the same
crash.
people. Like, they don't know
For
what
those
the
who
hell
don't
they're
know
doing with it. Like,
History.
it sounds like, oh man, let's announce it having an HDMI port. That'll get the pre-orders rolling.
yeah, exactly.
They
Yeah.
did the same thing with the new Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavor. Like, it comes with 4 USB ports and a HDMI slot, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, rum raisin!"
It comes with a protective lid for storage. Like, oh man, no other ice cream containers ever come with a lid.
It's to the point where the fact that that most Apple products not having a HDMI slot in it is actively fucking stupid.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, HDMI, USB-C.
I
feel like we need
DisplayPort is better.
Yeah, it is, but people don't
That's
use it.
the issue. Yeah, if it was worse, I would say stop it. But I think everyone needs to move over to DisplayPort.
Yeah, but until nobody else is using DisplayPort. Everybody else is using HDMI.
True,
Yeah.
but I still think
Yeah, nobody else will also be able to use DisplayPort because isn't that Apple proprietary? Don't they have the
No,
Patent
DisplayPort's
on
not Apple.
no?
no,
I thought Apple had the patent on that.
no.
Or am I thinking of the Lightning cable?
You're thinking of the Lightning cable.
Yeah, which isn't better than a micro USB.
that I don't know anything about.
I believe Lightning is faster, except it's super inconvenient because nothing except Apple uses it.
Yeah.
I don't
Whereas
think
DisplayPort, every video card you buy has DisplayPort.
I don't think it's all that much faster because the cord that Apple gives you with the most devices is pretty fucking shit anyway.
Yeah.
All right, just fucking parachute.
I think primarily the issue is it's not faster because it's bottlenecked by everything being USB 3 already. So it's like, oh man, look at how much speed we got, except we can't use any of it because everything it's plugged into is USB.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's plugged into USB
Yeah.
devices.
Yeah.
That's the entertaining part.
So,
I
I'm sure it is better, but the fact that the fact that Apple is
you'll get no argument from me about the Lightning cable. The DisplayPort, I think, however, I think everyone just needs to switch to that.
Well, I
now.
think Apple's switching to USB-C now. Are they not? Or did I just dream that?
That may or may not be true.
But here's the thing that I do. Here's the thing. Yeah, DisplayPort might be better, but nothing else uses DisplayPort.
But a lot of things use Display. Every video card you buy has DisplayPort.
Yeah, but I mean, but most people aren't going to be using it for video cards. Most people are going to be using it.
But you got to move forward with something. It's like when
suppose.
Blu-ray came out.
Yeah, I suppose.
Right?
I suppose.
Because no one was using Blu-ray at the beginning, especially since you had HHDVD DVDs.
You got it.
sidelines.
That's what it is.
It's a very obscure Red versus Blue reference. I honestly didn't think Rory knew.
It's one of my favorite quotes, actually.
Did you not see that episode?
Nope.
They're talking about the future, and Sarge was like, in the
season
future,
was
it's
that?
not going to be called Blu-ray. Well, what's it going to be called? Red-Ray. What about HD DVDs? No, it doesn't have enough repeated consonants. That's why in the future it's going to be called HD DVDs or something like that.
What season was that?
It was one of their. It was one of the PSAs that they did.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't watch those.
They,
Stop wasting your time on those. Do
Well,
the
they haven't
actual
done
show.
any for the latest season.
Good.
So that's the new Atari console.
we don't know anything
we
about
can't
it.
wait for it.
I mean, I might if it's just like an Atari Classic that can hold some other stuff. I mean, I might pick it up, but I don't know. Probably not. When I could just easily
Pick
You
up
could
an emulator at your local internet.
You could get an emulator at your local Fuck! You could also get an Atari 2600 for about $40 now. I'm pretty sure is the retail. Let me check that. I might. Be
But I mean, if you wanted to do anything with that, like you're gonna have to have old shit to plug it into. Just download a free emulator.
I'm just
online.
saying, if you wanted a fucking actual hearted console, you can get a 26 fucking.
Get a Raspberry Pi and turn it into an Atari emulator.
To be fair, you can get a Raspberry Pi and turn it into an everything emulator
Well,
right off the
that's true.
GameCube, essentially. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's that.
We got a fuck ton of trailers.
Well, I was gonna just say before we got into that.
Yeah.
Just because we're on video games,
Sure.
There was a game that came out this week or last week called Pyre by Supergiant.
Yeah. Have you looked into that at all?
I haven't bought it yet. I will.
What
be.
the hell is it, Adam?
Okay, so Supergiant Games is a studio that I really, really like because they did both
Exist.
Bastion and Transistor, which are two games that I absolutely adored. And this is the new game that came out, and I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know it was out.
I watched the trailer. Still don't know anything about.
So
what
basically, you play as a dude, I think called the storyteller or the narrator or something like that, and you're in kind of hell, and you have to assemble a team of like warriors and mages and stuff to play what is essentially, it's not, you're not fighting in a war, you're playing like in a sports match, but the sports match uses spells and swords and stuff, and you gotta like get your dudes into the enemy's goal to score, and you can only control one. It's teams of 3 versus 3, and you can only control one dude at a time.
Sounds
it's a
like
sports game?
Kind
American
of,
Gladiators Powerball.
Kind of, but there's also very deep
was
story
awesome.
mechanics in it, and there's RPG elements as well. It's kind of it's from what I've seen, and I haven't looked into it too much because apparently there is a lot of spoilers. It's not really a game that can be
Explained?
you can't really explain. You have to kind of like experience it. I
Okay,
suppose.
sure. Yeah, I buy it.
Um,
it sounds cool. to
It's
be honest.
got a because there's like the way like
What did you just do? Did your car just leap in the air?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I parachuted, but the parachute only opened as I landed instead of when I pressed the button. Thanks, car.
So like for example, like you have a team of guys that helps you, and like let's say one of your dudes, let's call him Bob, is really good. Like he's your best player, like he's your best character.
Sure.
But like the whole point of the story, I'm pretty sure, is all the characters want to leave hell. They want to go back to wherever they live, and
Is
they can
Hitler
only
in it?
leave if you can give them a way out. And so Bob is really, really, is really good on your team, and he says, "Hey, I've been helping you win a lot. Can I go home now?" You can either say yeah, and you lose your best character,
Yeah.
or you can say no, and
That's
his
what I'll be
morale
saying.
his morale goes down, and he won't fight as good. And all
Oh,
the
he
other-
becomes worse? Oh, okay, screw him, send him back home.
You know what I mean? I don't even know if that's how it works, but it's those kind of moral dilemmas that you're gonna have to deal with in the game. And apparently, I've listened to some of the soundtrack. It's pretty good.
Cool. This actually sounds like something I might play.
I think Rory would like it. Aaron might like it. I think Andrew would like it if Andrew listens to this. What are the
Why does everyone suck at driving in this?
Oh, I'm shooting at it. I'm shooting at it with my minigun.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell. Everyone was just, like, crashing. I was like, what?
Yeah, I would have to see somebody play it because it just I don't know what the hell it looked like in the trailer. It was just like some dude running to a dot and then it flashing and then running to another dot and it flashing. I was like, cool, I'll stay away from that.
We also got a trailer for Hellblade's Setsuna's Sacrifice.
That looks awesome.
Yeah.
What is it?
So
Stuff,
it
no
looks
idea.
like kind of like a hack and slash like adventure game, maybe like Dark Souls-esque.
Who makes it?
Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they made
Yeah.
a bunch of other stuff I didn't care about.
So this is the best looking game yet. I think
It's pretty good looking, yeah.
the last best looking game was Horizon Zero Dawn. This is the next one for me, I think. It's turbo.
Come on, old man. I don't have time for this shit.
Kill him. Why can't you drive your car?
Because I can't shoot my like because the car has Optimus Prime. Because my car has weapons, I can't shoot guns out of it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be buying the shit out of this game. I've just learned.
Yeah, so
It's also $30, I think. Or $40.
yeah, it is, which is weird.
Oh, it's on the Unreal Engine. I love the Unreal Engine.
So it's I think you're playing as this girl who murdered her boyfriend.
Sewage or something. Her name was it?
What?
What's the name of the thing?
Susua?
Satsuma.
Yeah, something like that. And anyway, you gotta journey her through some like hellscape or fight some like evil cult dudes, and you're trying to bring the head of your boyfriend or something back to your village so he can be resurrected.
It's kind of like Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, except much darker.
A
lot of the enemies in the game look like the Force. Is it the Forsworn from Skyrim? The dudes with the antlers and the skulls.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Anyway, that's why they all look like that. So it looks like very culty, very kind of almost Conan the Barbarian-esque in terms
These
of
people
setting.
made DMC. DMC was like
Yeah,
one of
there
my
you go.
favorite games the year it came out.
They made that.
The DMC is like one of my favorite games.
What else did they
period.
make?
What?
What other games have they made?
I don't know, like Heavenly Sword or something like that.
There you go.
Like,
That's
Oh
another
man,
one.
Heavenly Sword.
that was.
Didn't Ninja Theory also do Metroid Other M?
I don't think so.
I think they did.
Check, because I kind of want to find out.
They
'cause I
probably
didn't
don't
know that,
advertise that.
And if they did do it, I want to know.
Anyway, so yeah, it looks pretty fun. Definitely check out the trailer, because the trailer is about as nice it's about as nice a trailer as you're ever gonna get.
Yeah, it was a great trailer.
Yeah, so that looks fun. Probably gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna get it right away. I'll see what reviews are like first, so I don't waste my money. But it's only $30.
I had heard some stuff about that a long time ago, like with tech demos and stuff, and then I heard it was apparently going to be an actual game. And then now it's like they released a trailer for it like a week before it comes out. Like it's like, oh man, that looks cool. When's it coming out? Oh, next week.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll buy it. It's
Yeah.
on PC.
Yeah.
No, they did not. Who did? Was it? No, Team Ninja.
Yes,
Ninja.
okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a different group of people.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
also get them mixed up from time to time.
Yes, I do that all the time. I will say I really like this model, and I hope more companies do it where it's not AAA, it's AA. I think Jim Sterling was the first I heard to use that term, where instead of
Duracell's been using that for ages.
And me.
What?
Duracell's been using that for ages.
Oh man. But like, so it'll be like you'll be having a game about instead of having a game that tries to do everything, that has multiplayer and single player and a bunch of modes and that kind of stuff, you just have a game like Call of Duty 4. You just have the single player of that game, but instead of charging $80 for it, you charge $30 for it, but it's only the single player.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so it's a much more focused type of game. So you're not spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on it, but you're also not charging as much.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you're able to churn out more of them because they're easier to make because there's not as much going into them. So hopefully more games. If this might be a potentially very important game for the industry, because if more game companies do this, if this game does well, more game companies might end up doing this.
I agree, but I think that much like when Wasteland 2 came out, a lot of people are going to give this game the miss based purely on genre.
What do you mean? How so?
Like, what I mean is, I think that hack and slash, old school PC RPGs and stuff like that, I think a lot of people, like, not us, like, we play everything, right? But like,
the general, like,
a lot of the general public.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing:
Gives those games
it's
a
only
pass.
$30. They could probably. I'm not sure how much it costs to make.
Wasteland 2 was cheap too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's not. I don't necessarily think it's going for the Call of Duty market, where it's like we need every household has to have this game, or we're losing money.
I don't think they need to make money. What I'm saying is to make a big impact in the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think they're going to need to
I think just
make sales. and I don't
based
think
on
they
like
will.
aesthetic alone, this game is far more approachable than Wasteland 2.
I agree with
is.
that, 100%.
Because Wasteland 2 is like, I don't know, very old school, maybe even
yeah.
For the uninitiated, very unforgiving, very like you kind of need to know what you're doing, and it's very serious and very strategic all of the time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Whereas
Same thing
this
with
is
Divinity.
like, this is a pretty game, I'm going to buy it because it's pretty. And
Right,
then I'll figure
that's
out what it's
true.
about when I own it.
And that's what I hope happens. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the ideal.
It's
right?
also coming out for PS4, Xbone, and
It's not
PC.
coming out for Xbox.
No,
It's
it's not coming
I
out.
just saw
PS4 and PC
PS4
is
and
all I
PC.
saw.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Xbone. My mistake. Sorry. So it's coming out for PS4 and,
It banned Phil.
and PC. What?
You
Oh,
heard me.
and the Switch, because Switch is gonna be able to
Of course,
run it.
Reggie's all over this
Yeah.
one.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. I'll get it. I'll play it. I'll tell you how it is. I'm gonna get it.
I
Probably
will
like
also
tonight
tell
or
you how
something
it
when I
is.
get home.
Yeah.
The
You getting it on PC, Roy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The
Max those graphics cards out.
Max those settings.
I don't. I haven't bought a new game on PS4 in a very long time.
That doesn't
Yeah, true
surprise
that.
me.
Yep.
I want someday. I'm gonna start my own PixelJunkies. There's gonna be console guys, so we can talk about consoles and not have to be.
What do you
That-
mean we? It's just gonna be you.
Pleb
No,
Junkies.
I know guys who are in the console.
Welcome
game.
back to Pleb Junkies.
And have a conversation where it's like, "Hey, so I bought this game on Xbox. Oh, you bought the fucking pleb version." Ooh. So yeah, every time you hear me buy a game on console,
There's
assume
money you could have spent on a PC.
here's what you can add into the conversation so that we don't have to. It's the pleb version of the game. Is not running at 60 frames and has maximized settings, and it doesn't have emulators, and it's not as good, and it's inferior in every way, and blah 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 blah.
Why do you get personally offended by the console version being worse?
I don't.
All right.
I
Seems
just
like
get
you
I
do.
just get annoyed when fucking you two repeat yourself over and over again.
Yeah, but it's not always like ironclad. The PC version is better, especially nowadays. Sometimes the PC version is an absolutely broken piece of crap.
Yeah, sometimes the developers
The
fuck up.
fuck did you just say to me? Did you just say the PC version is not always better? Get the fucking Jesus out of your
be.
own
It should
house.
be.
If you no,
It
this is the
should
thing.
be.
This is one of the streamers brought this up when they talked about because the PC version of Tekken is superior to the console version of Tekken.
Rory,
That's the
shut
way
your-
it's supposed to be.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Like if your PS4 version or your Xbox version is better than the PC version,
Yeah, you
they
fucked up
fucked
something.
something up.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be. Like logically, based on development, it shouldn't be.
Let's take looking at some examples. They're all Warner Brothers games. Imagine
yeah,
that.
really though.
A lot of them are, yeah. Although Mad Max was pretty good. I didn't really run into any issues with Mad Max.
I haven't played that yet. Sandy, who was on the podcast last couple of weeks, who's dead now. That's why he's not on this week. He has bought it and played it, and I think he really enjoyed it.
I also own Mad Max.
Have you played it?
Oh.
No, I have not.
All right,
Alright.
well, thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks for the input.
Just letting you guys know.
So, I guess before we get into the trailers, do you want to talk about everything else before we get into the trailers, just because the trailers are going to take up a lot of time?
I like what like.
Well, there's Tekken 7.
Oh,
I
I do want to mention something about Tekken 7. Yeah, cause
Go ahead.
So when
I'm better than you. Go ahead.
when Tekken 7 was came out, there was you could pre-order it and you would get the Eliza character, and now the Eliza character,
Which one's
she's the
Eliza?
vampire.
Oh, there's a vampire now.
yeah.
That makes it fair.
And
I feel like martial law is really
Yeah.
out of his depth with this one, because here's a
Yes.
dude who's trained for 20 years, for 40 years to be the world's best martial artist. He's the best in the world when it comes to Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
Nobody is better than him. And he gets into a contest where
It's like
swords
robots
and
and
bears
bears
and
and shit.
robots
Yeah.
and vampires and demons fight. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm really good at martial arts though." It's like when Krillin tries to do anything in Dragon Ball Z in the later season. Like, dude, like, he can blow up planets and fly. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
yeah, and so you could pre-order it and get Eliza, but if you didn't pre-order it, you didn't get Eliza. So I have Tekken 7 and I have the season pass, right, for like the DLC, and now Eliza was released as DLC, but I have to pay for it.
What?
I'm like, I don't understand. I have the
What?
season pass. Yes, I'm not fucking with you.
That's some Activision level shit right there.
That's some bullshit. I
Yeah.
think. I get that I didn't pre-order it, but I did buy the season pass, which was like not cheap.
No,
Uh,
and you're supposed to be the season pass is supposed to come out when you get
Yeah.
the season pass. It's like, oh, all the DLC for
That's
this
the
season.
fucking point of a season pass,
Yeah.
is it not? So the first piece of Tekken DLC, I don't get for free. That upsets me.
No, it's the lifetime pass nowadays, boys.
The
And well, here's the thing. I think I don't like the fact that Borderlands. Jesus, I can't even think. Borderlands 2 did 2 seasons. Did Borderlands Season 1 DLC and Borderlands Season 2. So once year 1 was over, you had to buy Season 2, the Season 2 season pass.
Yeah.
But then you still got everything from that season. They didn't
Yeah.
be like, oh, and also you got to give us money what was the fucking Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep
That's
or whatever?
exactly right.
Like the Game of Thrones DLC.
Yeah, which was awesome, by the way. One of my favorite pieces of DLC ever. It was like, oh yeah, also you have to buy that separate. Like, why the fuck? They're making. I don't
You have to buy that
understand
separate?
game companies because they're trying to shove season passes down our throats. They're trying to make us buy them, making industry standards, and then they're coming out with stuff that you can't get with the season pass.
Yeah, it's weird.
The whole point of the season pass is so you can pre-order the season pass, pre-order the DLC. So, like, they get guaranteed sales, and then we get the stuff for free. But we don't even get that anymore. So what the fuck is the point?
I also personally believe that when it comes to a fighting game, and, like, if you have, a main in a fighting game, or, like, a couple main characters that you play, you put a lot of time into, like, practicing those characters and knowing those characters. So, like, I always felt that, like, restricting certain characters, behind, like, extra money is really weird. Or taking characters out. Like, there's some characters, even though Tekken has a huge roster, some characters don't appear again, which kind of bothers me. It's like, what if your main was one of those characters from the last game? Now you just gotta pick a new one?
Like, what do you mean I can't play Alex the Raptor?
That's frustrating. But on a more positive note, Tekken 7 did announce as DLC, and no, I'm not gonna have to pay for this guy. They announced a character, Geese Howard. I don't know if you guys were ever super into, like, old school
Geese
fighting
Howard?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's Eliza, yeah.
Roy, what is this character design?
Adam doesn't like the character design for Eliza.
Who's Eliza?
The vampire from...
Oh, yeah, of
Tekken.
course, yeah.
Aaron, she looks like this.
It just looks like a pirate from over here.
Yeah,
you're not
Aaron's
wrong.
on the other side of the room.
For fuck's sake.
Oh, boy. And so, yeah, and Geese Howard, and everyone loves that, and that's good. And meanwhile, at the same time, Street Fighter announced some DLC character that looks terrible. Abigail, if you want to look up Abigail from Street Fighter. In fact, I encourage you.
Get on the bike.
Right now, because I want Adam to see. I want to see Adam's reaction to Abigail. Just Street Fighter and then Abigail.
Fighter
A-B-I...
I know how to spell Abigail, but thank you.
Alright,
let's look at an image here. Is that it?
Yeah. And
it's not what I was expecting at all, really.
Which is like, if you see the picture, like, one of the
Is it going
streamers
into
I watched...
Spank Bank, Adam?
No.
One of the streamers I watched put it perfectly.
No.
Announcing Abigail was basically like saying, our game is bad. Come look at how bad it is.
Here, Aaron, I'm going to send you a link to Abigail.
Oh, I can't look at it now.
No, but put it up in the thing, because... Audience, I'm not even going to prerequisite this. Picture a character called Abigail. What would a character in a fighting game
Picture
like Street Fighter?
Anything, but, yeah.
What would Abigail look like? Don't give him any hints. What would... So, like, I'm thinking a character like Abigail is kind of like Southern Belle themed. Has a cane, maybe fights with the cane, bonnet, that sort of thing. Maybe that. Or maybe she's like a cowgirl. Like that sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
I go
Picture
more MILF
that,
direction.
and now, Aaron, throw up the picture of Abigail I just sent you.
Okay. Oh, man, I ate shit. Well, as soon as you send it to me, I'll look at it on my phone instead of on the computer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so make sure you throw that up.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just, our game is bad, look at how bad it is.
I'm sure it's not like Abe Gale, is it?
Don't give the audience... Well, they already seen it.
But yeah, so that was what
give them
happened
hints.
with regards to fighting games.
I don't even like Tekken that much, and that makes me very angry for you.
I know, right?
That's some, like, Activision, like, EA shit right there.
And that's very much not the way, like, Tekken has a history of being.
This was this
Bandai Namco, yeah.
Bandai Namco. They're usually not terrible.
Horrendous, yeah.
Is that what we're calling them this week? Don't they have like a history of relabeling the order of their name and shit?
Oh, right.
It's like Namco, Bandai, and
Probably.
so on.
It's really easy to mess up.
Yeah.
But But yeah, so that's what happened with that. They got some other stuff here before we get into the trailers, I
Yeah,
guess.
Aaron, so Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
you and Rory. I
Game
don't
of
know Rory, if Rory's seen it.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
I'm
caught
still
up.
on season 2, so no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Although no spoilers
Oh.
anyway, because not everybody may have seen it. But I think the first 2 episodes are out now.
The first 2, yeah.
You got a lot. You're gonna have a lot of fun binging like a bazillion seasons of Game of Thrones
Yeah.
when you get around to watching it.
I don't think it'll ever be as good as Gallivant, so I'm setting my sights pretty low here. But I'll probably watch it at some point. But Aaron, so no offense to Rory, but I think Aaron is probably the biggest Game of Thrones fans of the group.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I think Andrew's up there.
Well, he's never on the podcast, so if he was on the podcast, I could say
Okay,
Andrew.
so the biggest fan on the podcast. Maybe. I don't know how big Rory
Well, I'm on
is.
season 2, and Rory just said it was you, so
Yeah,
clearly.
I'd say you're probably a big fan than I am. I don't know. We
Yeah,
both
again,
like it
I
a
don't
lot.
know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
oh my God!
Regardless,
we're bogged down and shit
let's
that
talk,
doesn't matter.
Aaron, let's talk about
Pixel Junkies podcast.
the new Game of Thrones season and what we think
New
of it so
Game of
far.
Thrones. It's different. It feels different.
Yes,
It
I
has
agree
like
with
a
that.
different, maybe more so than the previous seasons. I think the previous season at least had some of it written down.
Yeah,
This one is definitely Uncharted. Gone into like Uncharted territory in terms of.
well, quite literally, it is Uncharted territory.
Is
Yeah.
Nolan North in it?
Yeah, totally. But it feels different in the sense that it's like
That was a good one.
parts of it are. I guess it's also evident now that they're getting to the end of the show,
I agree with
where
that.
there's like they're starting to tie up certain elements of it, and it's like it feels very kind of sped up maybe, or parts of it maybe have, I don't know, almost redundant payoffs. Like maybe they haven't gotten through everything yet, but certain parts
there's
of it,
some answers to some questions that I didn't care about.
yeah.
Is what I would say about it. One thing I will say about this season, I haven't been critical of. I've commented before on Game of Thrones' approach toward death and the impacts it has on your ability to,
Relate
then
to a
like
character.
not quite your ability to then like generate strong emotional moments like after numbing an audience. But I think now in this season, I'm glad a lot of characters are already dead because it eliminates some of the like. If they have to tie up, because they're tying up a lot of stuff right now, and if they have more living characters, they would have to tie up a lot more stuff,
Yeah.
and I would be out of my mind. So I'm glad that there's at least minimal characters left over.
I really want Game of Thrones to take the
Still a
Sonic
lot.
approach to storytelling, where they just keep adding new characters that nobody cares about. So like eventually we'll get like the Charmy the Bee of Game of Thrones. Or Shadow
I mean, they
the-
kind of do
I
that,
want-
except
I-
they keep killing
I
them
want
all.
I want Khaleesi to have a dark, edgy like rival called like Nega Khaleesi or like Felici or something like that.
Khaleesi.
And she looks
So it's got, like, a
exactly
sweet
and
vest on.
she looks exactly like Khaleesi, but she has dark hair. Ooh, and her eyes are kind of red.
It's just
And she
Emilia.
uses
It's
a-
just Emilia Clarke without
Just a
the
regular
Emilia
blonde.
Clarke.
And she uses a gun.
Emilia Clarke from the Han Solo movie.
Is she in the Han Solo movie?
Yeah.
Hopefully, this will be the hopefully this won't be a Terminator for her.
Yeah, true story.
I think she hopes so too.
So yeah, recently in the last episode, they killed a character a lot of people didn't like. So a lot of people probably happy with that.
Joffrey,
No.
Stannis Baratheon.
So when I think of, for the record, when I think of Joffrey, I think of Joffrey from Oblivion.
Yeah.
And I'm always confused.
Like, oh right.
Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
And
He
so
died in the first season, Adam. You should know.
yeah, people hated Khal Drogo.
I liked him better when he was Aquaman.
So yeah, a lot of people will be happy with that. I knew that character was gonna die because the actress is contractually busy with other work. So
Did people not like her character because she was a bad character, or did people not like her character because she was a bad actor?
no, it had nothing to do with her acting ability. So her character was, in her own words, no, not her own words, in her heavily paraphrased by me words, kind of like shoehorned into it really quickly. And even she mentioned, she was like, yeah, they didn't have enough time to give the characters appropriate backstory.
Because did the character exist in the book?
I
I'm
haven't.
not sure.
Or is it a TV?
Yeah, I haven't read. I don't know about the book. That my knowledge of what happens in the book sort of ends 2 seasons ago.
I have the first 4 books on book.
Sweet, you got them on book.
That's the dumbest thing I may have said all day. I have the first 4 books. I haven't gotten to them yet because I have a huge list of books I got to get.
For the
to.
record, you can also get them for free on your computer.
Oh my god!
So if we, I'm just.
What
saying,
do you do and eat
I'm trying to
spaghetti, Adam?
legitimize-
You can get it for free on your computer.
I'm
Just
trying to help
download an
you.
image.
I try to help you
Jesus
help
Christ.
your really dumb statement about you have it on book that you can also have it on other things like Kindle or whatever the fuck. Not free on Kindle though. Probably. I don't know anything about it. Does anyone own a Kindle?
I
My
have
mom
a,
owns a Kindle.
Okay.
Yes, I think
I
it's a
prefer
Kindle.
books
Yes.
just because I like being able to flip back really quickly. I don't know. I
They take
prefer
up too
holding
much
a book.
space.
What?
They take up too much space.
I agree with that.
I agree with that as well, but at the same time, I like having books on my shelf.
See, that's
Yeah.
why I like comic books because they're thin and they don't take up as much space.
They're also overpriced and for the most part written like shit. Thank you, Marvel, for killing off my interest on all your characters by either killing them or making them terrible.
You're talking about DC, not Marvel.
No, I'm not
No,
talking about
anyway,
Marvel.
the
He's
Dornish
talking about
girls.
Marvel.
I'm talking about Marvel. And I saw Baby Driver this week or last week. No, this week.
Right.
Are we
So
done? Okay, I guess.
what
we're done with that.
Adam saved this for the podcast. I remember because in the mess thread he said I saw Baby Driver and someone asked him how it was and he didn't tell us.
Did
So
somebody
I'm
ask me how it was?
Yeah,
Oh.
Andrew did. So I'm assuming I
didn't
you were
see
saving
that.
it for the podcast.
I didn't see that.
You're just bad as Jordan.
What?
Hey, coming to my show? What time is it? No response.
To be fair, I was with my family, so I wasn't really checking
Okay, yeah, yeah.
messages.
So what? So how was
It was a
Baby
week-long
Driver?
orgy with your family.
So, Baby Driver was... Has anybody else seen it?
No.
Nope. I saw Fetus Driver, but that was a prequel.
It's good. It's definitely a very interesting movie. I'm gonna keep this short, I promise. It takes a lot of twists and turns that I didn't see coming. There's characters in the movie that I thought would end off differently than it did. And I think the movie tried to go for very stylized things. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes the stylization, I'm trying not to get into spoilers here, but like they try to do a lot of like 50s stylings, but it only comes up in different parts of the movie and it feels kind of shoehorned in. But at other times, and I'm not spoiling anything by saying this, like the main character, he listens to music all the time because he has tinnitus, and he can hear he hears a ringing in his ear, so he uses the music to drown that out. And any time that there's no music playing in the movie, there's a faint ringing in the background. You can just barely hear it, and I thought that was kind of cool. It goes away when the music is playing, or you know, and you can't hear it during the big like action sequences. But when characters are just sitting around talking and he doesn't have music in, you can hear faint ringing, and I thought that was a very interesting touch. I mean, everybody acts really well in this movie.
Is that what tinnitus is?
Yeah, it's basically your hearing is fucked.
Sweet.
Your hearing is fucked.
Oh, my earrings.
So, yeah, nice hit there, Aaron. What else? The action scenes in this movie are pretty good. Jamie Foxx's character is probably the most standout in terms of. I mean, Jamie Foxx is always great in any role he's in. Just think Django Unchained.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's playing the opposite of Django. I won't spoil it, but the character is really, really, really cool. I won't say interesting because he's kind of one-dimensional, but he's very interesting in how they use him in the movie. Kevin Spacey's character is interesting. Everybody does a good job. The plot itself is kind of just like it goes to places I'm not entirely sure were necessary or why they went to these places. But at the same time, it's not bad that they went to these places. It's just kind of interesting that they went that way. So
how does it compare to like Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and Scott Pilgrim?
is it also directed by?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know they're completely different types of movies.
Of those four, it's probably the one. I won't say the weakest because it's not a weak film at all.
Right.
But I'd say it's the one I like the least.
Okay. Sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's not a comedy, so that might be
that'll-
there. Although there
hit it.
are a couple of.
He
funny
also
parts.
wrote it, so that also he probably doesn't have a lot of experience not writing comedy.
If it's yeah, I mean if he did write it, and he doesn't have a lot of experience with this kind of movie, he did a really good job.
Okay, yeah.
And there's some really excellent parts in the movie, like just individual scenes that I really liked. There's one scene which kind of put me in mind of the beginning of Inglourious Bastards, where the bad guy sitting down with the milk farmer. Is
Good
the milk
scene.
farmer?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And there's just there's a lot of drawn out tension. There's a couple of scenes like that. They don't drag out for quite as long. They're not quite as good.
Yeah.
But it put me in that kind of mind. I don't know. It's just I would say. I would say if you go see it in theaters, but if you don't want to, I understand that. But you should definitely check out this film at some point.
Yeah.
Is my recommendation.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, best. I'm calling it right now. This is probably going to be my pick for best soundtrack of the year.
Okay,
The
cool.
soundtrack
That's
for this
good.
movie is
Like
really
original,
good.
or is it like comprised of?
No, not
existing?
original soundtrack. The best kind of compilation soundtrack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of saying a lot because Guardians already came out, and Thor Ragnarok is going to have Led Zeppelin in it apparently. So, which is I think the first movie ever to have Led Zeppelin. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
basically, because it's too fucking expensive.
How much would it take the
Fuck.
franchise to
Way too much. That's why no one has. That's why everyone has Led Zeppelin covers in movies. That's true. It's because it's too expensive to get an original Led Zeppelin song. They
What do you call it when you licensing?
yeah.
Except Marvel.
Also,
Marvel
can we
would
just
do it.
point out? I pointed this out in the thread to the guys. So, talking about the trailers now, like the new Ragnarok trailer, and Carl Urban is the assistant person to this Hell individual,
Yeah.
and that's hilarious because
Hell, the Norse goddess of the underworld.
because in
With one L.
Riddick, Carl Urban is Vako, who is the assistant to the
Necromongers.
The leader of the Necromonger is the Lord Marshal.
Yeah.
And so I think it's funny that he's playing this role again.
Yeah, essentially.
He even looks like, I was like, is that Vako?
This is a pretty star-studded cast in terms
It
of
is.
because you obviously got Tom Hiddleston and Mark Ruffalo
Yeah.
and Chris Hemsworth and all that kind of stuff. But you got Jeff Goldblum. You have
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
She's amazing.
Potentially Benedict Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange.
He's totally in it.
If he's in it, I haven't seen him in any of the trailers, but I really hope he's in it.
There's probably a reasoning why. I mean, I
believe he is
assume
listed in the cast.
Doctor Strange is going to show up and rewind time to fix Thor's hammer or something.
That'd be cool. If the hammer is broken, I'm not entirely
You
convinced.
think it's an illusion?
I might be in a very elaborate illusion.
I don't know. I mean, isn't she a god? I'm pretty sure she could destroy his hammer.
Yeah, but I'm just. Now, I know it's a different continuity, but in the comics, I don't think she's quite that powerful. In fact, I don't think anybody outside of Thanos with the
listed.
Infinity Gauntlet is... and also Idris Elba.
Yeah, Idris Elba's the man, by the way.
Yeah, who absolutely should be the next Bond, in my opinion. I'm
believe-
firmly in the Rory camp on this one.
I agree, although I believe he did say he doesn't want to.
Oh.
Idris
Idris
Elba or
changed
Tom
your mind.
Hardy.
What?
Tom
Oh, yeah,
Hardy
Tom
could do
Hardy
one.
would also be an excellent Bond.
I love the idea of Tom Hardy.
Except he'd have no speaking parts. He'd wear a mask the whole
I
time.
also don't think that, many people think, for reasons that have yet to become clear to me based on the history of Bond, that Bond needs to be English. I also think that Michael Fassbender would make a good Bond. I think
Yes, but
he
not
would
as good as Idris Elba, I don't think.
I think they play different Bonds. I think Michael Fassbender would make a good version of aristocratic Bond. I wasn't particularly fond of the way that Pierce Brosnan played Bond, but I think that Fassbender could do a better version of that Bond.
Rhyme.
Can I also just say, just because we're on this topic of who would play a very important character, the new Doctor Who got announced, and it's a woman for the first time.
Yeah,
in 50
wasn't
years.
that met with massive outrage or something?
Yeah, and I don't know why.
I know why. Nerd guys.
Well, yes, but I don't know why they're upset, because here's the thing: there's been 12 Doctor Who's at this point, and one that wasn't the Doctor, the Ward Doctor, played by God.
I'm picturing it too.
Anyway, Rory, can you look that up for me?
Yeah, I can.
Anyway, and they've all been men. And there's nothing wrong with any of the Doctors. They all brought different stuff to the role, and my personal favorite is the last one, Peter Capaldi. I really liked his version. But, I mean, they're all great.
John Hurt.
John Hurt.
My man, John Hurt.
I got there like a second after.
The voice of the dragon in Merlin.
Yeah. Also a bunch of other things.
Yeah, also John Hurt.
Yeah.
Also a very famous actor.
So the way I look at it is, yeah, why not? Because it's shown that people, and they definitely have been setting this up. Because in the last season of Doctor Who that I watched, I haven't seen the most recent.
I haven't seen any of Capaldi yet.
You should.
Which is, I bet he'd probably be one of my favorite doctors.
It's excellent. But the second season of Capaldi had, the Master came back, spoiler alert, as a woman, and a bunch of the other Time Lords were killed and regenerated as women. So in lore, it's been established that you can, if you're a male Time Lord, you can regenerate as a woman, or vice versa. So it's not really lore breaking. At least as far as I'm aware. And
no, I don't think it's lore breaking.
And as long as she's a good actor, I don't know what else she's been in.
I've only seen up to and including Matt Smith. So I assume as long as there's no lore breaking things past that, as far as I can tell, it's not lore breaking.
That hasn't been already broken by the fucking showrunner himself. But like the.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay, this is super important. Who's showrunning the season with her?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Who's writing this character?
I don't know.
Fuck if I know.
Because I have not... I haven't kept up enough with Doctor Who lately. It's not Stephen Moffat, right?
Her name is Chris Marshall, by the way, the woman who's playing her. I mean, she looks fine as the Doctor. I imagine she's going to be... I mean, the Doctor's kind of a very eccentric character anyway. The Doctor's not particularly... hard to play, if you know what I mean. Like, there's some nuance there, but there's not like...
Although everyone plays the Doctor differently,
yes.
I would say, with Eccleston being my favorite.
Shouldn't that not be the case? Like, you can be a woman, you can be black, you can be transgender, I don't care. But shouldn't the character be the same? Isn't it, like, the same entity?
Because...
Oh, I understand what he's asking.
Because there's certain core principles that the character always holds on to, but, like, the character's personality wavers, and that's more in terms as the season differs from writer to writer and that kind of stuff, because it would be boring having the same...
Yeah, but
think of clones, Aaron. Think of the different renditions of clones.
Yeah, but would clones have different personalities?
Yes.
But how would we know that?
Because
by observing them.
Yeah.
But we can't observe clones because they don't exist.
No, we're saying in Star Wars.
Yeah.
In the Star
Wars universe, think about the way clones have been portrayed over
should they not be? Like, I don't know.
You're saying you disagree with it on like a scientific level?
because well, just let me put it this way.
Sure.
If you have a bunch of clones, their personality is determined by their interactions, their friends.
Yes, I agree with you.
Basically, their decisions and different courses of action that get them into different situations in their life. That ultimately determines their personality.
I'm with you.
You can have a bunch of clones be different people. But when you have the same person...
Oh, I understand his question.
...that goes through different iterations, shouldn't they still be the same person? Like...
So I don't know enough about Doctor Who to say for sure, but there's probably, given how thorough Doctor Who is, there's probably an in-lore explanation of why that is.
Probably.
Of why the character changes?
Yeah, there's probably... I should... You know what? My old boss... is the biggest Doctor Who fan on the planet. That's not a debatable title, by the way.
No.
He is the biggest Doctor Who fan on the planet. And
he has his own website.
It is the most...
Does he have his own TARDIS?
It's the most extensive history of Doctor Who available. So I can actually ask him.
Oh my god!
If there's an in-lore explanation there, and
maybe there's like some reason. Maybe like when they change personnel or change form.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Jodie Whittaker. Sorry,
I was wondering. I wasn't gonna correct it, but I was wondering why you said a different name.
Because the name that came up on the thing was a completely different name.
Oh, really?
Of what
Okay,
it is.
yeah.
Thank you, internet.
Jesus
Christ.
So yeah, Doctor Who is cool.
I don't know who's writing season 11, series 11.
So if it's if it's Stephen Moffat, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because Stephen Moffat
wasn't he Doctor Who?
No.
No.
He writes Doctor Who and is the
showrunner. Okay. I thought for forever that the new guy was Stephen Moffat.
So I'm not, as you guys know, like I gotta preface this with something. I'm not a super knowledgeable critic when it comes to like things like gender representation. But I do follow some of these critics, and the general consensus seems to be that Stephen Moffat does not write female characters well. Or more accurately, can write about 2 archetypes of female characters and reuses that over and over again.
To be fair, I liked Amy Pond, but
True. And people aren't saying he's never written a good female character. They're saying that he always goes to these general archetypes and is ill-equipped to write sort of new female characters. So I'll be very interested to see.
You shouldn't write. But here's the
how
thing:
this comes out.
when you're writing the Doctor, when you're writing this Doctor, you shouldn't approach her from the fact that she's a woman. You should approach her from the fact that it's the Doctor. Write the Doctor,
and we'll see if he does that.
Well,
if he's doing it.
He hasn't written a female Doctor before, so who knows?
So this is going to be interesting.
Anyway, the whole point I wanted to make is I don't know why there's this big there's a bunch of controversy. If she's terrible, or if this character is terrible or whatever, then get angry. But at least give her a shot. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, but I agree. I don't know why there's so much controversy. I'm unsurprised by the controversy. That's what I'd say about it, because I've become accustomed to people complaining every time there's a change in something.
Anyway, so kind of back to the trailers. We kind of talked about
we mentioned Thor. It's a good trailer.
Yeah.
We should say that. I think it's a cool trailer.
And for the first time since 2000, since these fucking movies began, all the way back with Hulk or with Iron Man in 2000 and
Hulk,
or was it Hulk?
Hulk was first.
Yeah,
just,
so
not by much, a few months, but first.
Yeah, so all the way back from 2008 with the first Hulk movie, Hulk gets a fucking speaking role. Not Bruce Banner, Hulk. Hulk is talking in this movie.
Also, I think who was the guy who played him in the TV show?
The Hulk TV show?
Oh, you mean oh god, Lou Ferrigno?
Lou Ferrigno. I think he's doing Hulk voice.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my
That's
god, I'm
funny.
excited.
That's funny. They
So
Voice.
there you go.
That's pretty cool.
For
We'll find out about that actually before we move on. To the
I don't know.
next trailer.
I think it looks pretty good.
I agree. It does look good.
It is Lou Ferrigno. Oh my
That's
god.
funny. That's funny.
Ah!
All right, that's good.
I'm excited.
It's got like a Guardians vibe to it a little bit, but I also think they're like capitalizing on the whole Thor stuff, because the first 2 Thor movies, as far as I'm concerned, the first one sucked and the second one was okay.
I think the first one is is awful. Like
it's the
I actually
weakest
prefer the first
MCU
one to
movie
the
by
second one,
far.
in my opinion. But
I have a big problem with Kenneth Branagh.
that's just me.
Me and Kenneth Branagh just don't get along.
Again, my synopsis of the first Thor movie is just like a 2-hour spiel of Natalie Portman trying to not sploosh for Chris Hemsworth. That's the whole film. Nothing else happens. That's it.
Oh.
It's distracting,
Yeah.
so it's like, this movie sucks.
So yeah.
That's why she's not in this one, and that's why
Yeah.
it's better. I like Natalie Portman.
I like the idea
but-
that this is kind of like a more like kind of doing Guardians, where they're out in space and they're just kind of having like a fun fantasy adventure.
Yeah, and I've heard complaints about that as well, but it's like Thor is...
He's
not
a
on-
fantasy
it's not
character.
yeah, it's a fantasy. Like, what do you want it to be? It's like, it's too much like Guardians. Like, well, it's a fantasy kind of space opera.
I hope
almost.
they're not
like,
trying to capitalize on Guardians, because Marvel already has a Guardians as Guardians, but I think it's going to be more just because I mean all the Avengers movies are pretty have a touch of comedy in it anyway. I just
Okay, so can we? I just want to dwell on this for a moment. I think that it's important what Adam said. We already have a Guardians, because I found that was one of. So me and Adam actually have a different verdict on the outcome of the Suicide Squad film. But
do we?
One of the key problems in Suicide Squad is, and both me and Adam agree on this, that the plot is a goddamn mess. And one of the key problems in Suicide Squad is it's a bad guy that goes better with other superheroes in the DC universe. Like, that's not a bad guy those DC... Well, I shouldn't say heroes. Those DC people should be fighting, and there's other DC people more qualified to fight that person.
yes,
The,
who already exist in the universe. Like was Wonder Woman not doing anything that day?
Yeah, or, like, even, like, the Green Lanterns
Yeah.
would have done a better job of that. Like, and I
Okay.
think that's... It's going to be important like that,
Jesus.
especially going forward with all these Marvel movies, to keep people doing their own things and not for too many people to go piling on to the same type of thing.
Yeah.
So we already have a Guardians. Hopefully it's not too much like Guardians, but I think it looks good. I'm
Yeah.
excited for a Thor movie, which is a fucking miracle as far as I'm concerned.
I certainly understand why the trailers looks like Guardians, because the Guardians trailers were the reason people went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. If the trailers hadn't looked
agree.
like that, nobody would have went to those movies. So I think
Yeah.
they're trying the same thing with Thor, where like nobody likes these Thor movies. We got a good one here. We got to get people in the theater.
The trailer for the first Guardians is one of the most effective things done in recent history as far
Yeah.
as getting people to go see a movie they
Yeah.
otherwise wouldn't have been interested in.
Yeah.
Because who really, what ordinary person who didn't read comic books gave a shit about the Guardians of the Galaxy?
My mom,
Fucking
like
nobody.
I always use my mom as like a benchmark for like how good a trailer is for getting people in the movie theaters, because she doesn't really like action movies, but she saw Guardians and the first Guardians trailer. She's like, that looks really funny. Adam, do you want to go see that? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, even my mom went to see Guardians.
And did your mom like it?
Yeah, she liked it. She
Yeah.
doesn't give a shit about superhero movies. She wouldn't go see Iron Man or Spider-Man or anything like that, but
Right, yeah.
fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, do it up.
And of course, when I say to her, she's like, Adam, would I like Deadpool? No, don't go see Deadpool. And then she goes see Deadpool. It's like, I didn't like that at all. It was crass and crude. I'm like, well, you know, I did tell you. But yeah.
So Thor trailer's good. We got some other trailers here.
Yeah, how we doing on time? Or we're like,
How are we doing on time?
We're at a minute and 16.
An hour and
a
16
minute and
minutes.
16
that's
seconds. That was a long fucking minute.
I'm at an hour and 16 minutes.
Shit.
So we should talk about
Yeah,
the
so
Defenders
let's-
trailer.
But do I?
The Defenders trailer.
Do we
Yeah.
want to talk about these trailers now, or do we want to wait till next week?
I mean, we
more
could
time?
we can wrap it up.
I'd say
Yeah, we can
because
wrap it
there's
up,
nothing
yeah.
going to happen this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
We're
nothing
gonna
gonna happen
need-
this week, so we're gonna talk about the other trailers next week,
Yeah, so we're
and
going to talk
hopefully
about.
we'll have some new information on the Atari console.
Yeah, so
Doubt it though.
we're going to talk about Justice League next week.
That's
Defender.
the information we got about the Atari console is
Stranger
the
Things.
only information we'll ever get about it. It's not coming out.
Ready Player One trailer. Infinity War. There's some behind the scenes footage of that I heard was pretty
Man,
good.
you're talking about like
Black
ensemble
Panther.
casts. The fucking Infinity War cast has like every frigging actor in Hollywood.
Can I
in
just
it.
read out the
It's
the
a
cast list?
ridiculous.
Yeah, do
Yes,
it.
please.
Hang on, I'll get it up here. Go away, Andrew.
Also, I'm excited for Cap having a beard.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
And Black Widow having
does he look like
blonde
Big Boss to anybody else when he has a beard?
Dick Boss? What?
Big Boss.
Oh.
Why would he say Dick Boss?
Cast. So who's in this movie? Let's have a look.
Everyone.
Here.
Just name the people who aren't in it. It's shorter.
All right, full cast and crew. Cast 39 and out so far. Tom Holland as Peter Parker, Scarlett Johansson, Karen Gillan, Elizabeth Olsen, Colby Smulders, Peter Dinklage, Benedict Cumberbatch, Vin Diesel, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, Tom Hiddleston, Josh Brolin, Zoe Saldana,
Saldana.
Chris
She's
Hemsworth,
great.
Sebastian Stan, Samuel Jackson, Pom Clementi, who plays Mantis,
Oh, yeah.
Dave Bautista, Bradley Cooper, Jeremy Renner, Paul Rudd, Tessa Thompson, Benicio del Toro, Benicio?
Sure.
Mark Ruffalo, Paul Bettany, Terry Notary, and then we're getting into kind of the... Chadwick Boseman,
Yep.
Don Cheadle, Benedict Wong, Anthony Mackie,
I love
Sam
Benedict Wong.
Gunn.
Is Martin Freeman in it?
I don't see him.
He's in Black Panther.
I don't think he's in this. But I mean,
Well,
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's Peter Dinklage in Infinity War?
Rumored.
Rumored. Okay. Maybe he's one of the Black Order. I don't know.
Maybe that'd be cool. Doing the voice.
Could be,
Although
yeah.
hopefully he does a better job than he did with the Dinkleberry.
Careful, you have awoken the hive.
No, you put too
Anyway.
much emotion into it. It's careful, you've awoken the hive.
No, that's what he sounded like. You've awoken the hive. And then you hear that 9 million times because that was a part of the level you had to grind for
Oh
shit.
my god, there's so many characters in this
All right.
movie. How are they going to juggle all these people? Like this might be the movie
Maybe
that's
like
too
3
big to
hours.
succeed.
Maybe like a 3-hour movie.
I'd sit if this movie was 4 hours long. I'd sit through the whole fucking
Probably.
thing.
So what? It was going to be Infinity War Part 1 and 2. Now it's
Yeah.
Infinity War and something else.
Is it?
Yeah, the fourth... The second part is now its own thing, and it's called something else. They don't have a name on it yet, though, I don't think. Anyway.
Are you sure it's not just one of those things that happened with Batman v Superman, Where at first they were like, "It's the next Superman movie," and then they just decided to embrace that. The only
No, they
reason anyone
announced
wanted
it-
to see it
Oh
was
my
because of
god!
Batman.
Look at the cast list on
They announced,
fucking Wikipedia.
they announced it as Infinity War Part 1 and 2. Now it's Infinity War and Avengers on an
It is the
untitled
19th
Oh,
film
okay,
installment
yeah.
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There have been 20 of these fucking movies. How is... If you were a kid and somebody said to you, in the future, there's going to be all these superhero movies, and they're all going to be connected, and they're all going to be good for the most part, would you believe them?
I mean, I'd be
the
very
years
hopeful.
2000, the only good superhero movie to come out in the last 10 years has been X-Men.
I
and
disagree with
Spider-Man.
that. Batman.
Man, the Hulk.
No, it's the year 2000.
Yeah, in the year 2000, so Batman has come out in the last 10 years. There've been Batman
1989.
movies.
Talking about like the
There's
friggin'
other Batman
George...
movies in between, though.
Which ones?
There's Batman Returns, Batman Forever.
No, fuck
the,
you. Fuck you,
Fuck
that's not a
you.
good movie.
Which one?
Batman Forever.
Okay,
Fuck
did you like Batman Returns?
The nipples.
It's alright.
Nipple
A
bat?
lot of people liked it though. Like it's
So...
Why did they put an ass on him?
that's a good question.
Alright.
What?
do you think they're gonna kill Iron Man in this?
I mean, I hope not, but maybe they will just so they can make
So,
Iron Man
So
with somebody
Robert Downey
else.
Jr. can go do something else.
gonna have a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, no!
But I feel like they're gonna keep going after Infinity War though, or after the fourth Avengers movie,
Yeah, it's...
because
so-
they still have like Captain Marvel to do. Like her movie's coming out after Infinity War, I believe.
Yep.
It'll
Yeah.
have
I think
to.
she's probably gonna premiere in this movie. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so the first Avenger...
She will premiere, except her movie takes place in the 90s, so it's technically like a prequel to everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
also
So-
true.
So the first, it's going to be Avengers Infinity War, and then the next one is going to be called Untitled Avengers Film.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So yeah.
All right.
Well,
so, yeah,
that'll wrap it up.
we'll be
Yeah.
back next week, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
See you next time.